Okay, so it's the official episode 1. It's episode 0 was the pilot. We were on our today. Back on down the toilet. I'm not much of a host, but I got thrown into this job. Everybody, we got the same people from last week, plus a couple new faces. One new face, actually. JD Davis. Say hi.
Hey.
Dan.
What's going on?
Justin.
What's up?
Big Bear. And Sam.
Gang.
Gang.
New face, Tanner. It's not Tanner, say hello.
So
Alright, well, there's a censor for the voice. And there's nobody else in the room.
Boo.
Nobody sober else is in the room.
Garrett, get out.
Oh, damn. Gary's hammered because we had to get rid of all our...
Garrett refuses to leave. He is not the official guest of the show.
Wow.
Is Tanner the guest today? Is it?
What?
Tanner's
Tanner's on the the He couldn't make the first
Okay.
episode.
Make it.
Mm-hmm.
Get a blows.
Garrett.
I'm getting the blues.
Give thanks.
You get cold for Christmas.
We're closer to Thanksgiving.
Sorry,
no,
that's
Santa
crazy.
Santa Claus is going to bring a fat
Yeah, Garrett's been under strict instructions not to talk. It's
I'm probably
okay.
still gonna talk.
Somebody's gonna have to muscle this guy out of here.
Alright.
Moving on. We're more organized. All right. To our first topic, Sam, topic man.
Okay.
What's the first topic?
So with Halloween happening and everything, you know, some scary movies have been coming around. Everybody's been watching them right now. Some of them, you know, are pretty clever. Some of them are pretty good. And then there's some that are just absolutely terrible. So, just want to get a group discussion here. What are some of the dumbest scary movies y'all have seen?
Alright. Obviously, probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen. Trolls 2.
Trolls 2, baby. Dude, that one sucks. They're not even trolls in Trolls 2. It's not even trolls. It's like goblins or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. They look weird. But if you don't know what Trolls 2 is, it's the scene where the dude's yelling. He's like, "Oh my god!" Absolutely one of the worst scenes in movie history.
I'll tell you a movie that y'all need to see if you haven't yet, and that's Boo 2, A Madea Halloween.
Man, I love the Madea movies.
Dude, talk about
They're
a
hilarious.
dumb, scary movie. It was hilarious, though.
I thought House of Wax was...
Is that the one with Paris Hilton?
Yes.
Because you know it's going to be dumb if Paris Hilton's the lead.
That's why I watched it in the first place.
Yeah.
But I thought they're all wax.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
I thought it was stupid. I thought it was just dumb.
I don't know.
My thing, I'm confused on, like, the Leprechaun movies. Because, like...
Oh, that stuff messed me up as a kid.
Well, like, the first, I think, like, 1 or 2 are, like, meant to be taken seriously. And then, like, Leprechaun 4, he goes into the hood. And then, in, like, the 5th one, he's in space. And then it's, like, Leprechaun 6, back to the hood. And I don't know what's going on there.
Was the second Chucky supposed to be funny or scary?
Child's Play 2?
Yeah.
I think the first 3 were supposed to be scary, and then after that, it just got really bad. But I see where you're going with that, though. The Chucky movies are definitely trash now.
I will say as well, Human Centipede 1, a masterpiece. I mean, complete masterpiece. It was one of the best movies of our generation. And Human Centipede 2 and 3 definitely ate ass.
Like, how much ass can you eat?
I mean, it did eat a lot.
It ate a lot of ass. I mean, literally and figuratively ate ass. I mean, you can bleep this if you want to, but I'm just saying, there was a lot of ass eaten in that movie. And there's only so many Human Centipede positions you can, like, go with to actually have a movie.
Well, think about the third one, too, because the third one was a whole prison.
Yeah. That was wild.
So you had hundreds of people on that ass train.
So it was a continuous line of 100
They sewed their mouths to their ass.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the movies.
They
so.
sewed their mouths to each other's ass.
I know the premise.
Oh,
I've never seen.
The first
I don't have
one
no
was
desire.
3, and then the second one was how many?
6.
No,
So I can't talk. Sorry.
Right?
on the 6th.
But six.
I never saw the second one.
Yeah.
I think it was like
I've
10
only seen the third one.
or 11.
It was quite a few.
And then the third one was a
It was
whole
just
prison
too many
worth,
people.
so.
They had lofty goals. I'm just saying, like, with the movie, like, progressing, they went from
Well, what
3
else
people.
could they do?
There's
Add more people.
Add more people getting their
Just
ass
gonna add
eaten.
more-
Well, so the first one, it was a scientist who was like
Yeah.
super intricate with it, and the second one was some dude who was like somewhat
Deranged.
mentally challenged,
Yeah.
and he was just like hammering their teeth out. Like the first one, the guy was surgically removing teeth, and the second one, he just starts hammering their teeth out with a
Yeah.
rusty ass hammer.
He was a fan of like the dude from the first one.
Yeah.
He got inspiration from it. That's why.
But he did it so badly.
And the third one's like that was like their
Third one's
punishment,
like
wasn't
the prison warden's like, I want to do this.
it? Just fun.
Yeah,
And they had the dude from the second one in it too, didn't they?
I think so.
Was
Talking
the dude in
about-
the first one and the third one? Sorry.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Talk about bad sequels. Paranormal Activity. They got up to 4, didn't they?
They got it.
They're still
Yeah,
going.
they're still
I'm
going
pretty
strong.
Yeah.
That and then like Saw up to whatever number well now it's called Jigsaw.
So that was another thing too, is they stopped Saw with like the final chapter or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what the last movie was called, and then they just brought it back all of a sudden with
Well,
Jigsaw.
it's Jigsaw now. It's a completely different story.
I don't know.
They got
guys.
6 more movies. They
Oh my
got 6 more
goodness.
movies going.
I
with that.
thoroughly, and not necessarily as scary movies,
Just the gore of it.
but I thoroughly enjoy all the Saw movies.
The
I enjoyed
first
it.
one, the plot twist,
First one was
wild
awesome.
as hell.
Yeah, I enjoy the creativity of them all.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy them as like works of film,
No, it's not like.
but I enjoy like the
Intricate
different
horror
traps
movies.
and everything, and like seeing like the psychological crap that goes on behind it.
I know this is dumb as scary movies. I thought the first Purge, was pretty smart.
Yeah.
Now the next 2 were,
It was a good idea
Don't
for
know.
sure.
yeah, but the first one was pretty cool.
I haven't seen the Virgin.
Oh man,
I
I
don't know.
I
You
saw the
haven't seen the
second one.
original Purge?
First one was pretty
I
solid.
saw the second one and I saw the first one. I still haven't seen the third one, but from what I've heard, the third one's not that good either.
Justin, you all about the Purge?
I love the Purge, man.
What about
Have you seen the new one?
What about the concept?
Killing people.
I mean,
Like,
like
do
to
you-
actually implement it in real life.
Yeah, like,
if we could
what are
implement
your thoughts
it,
on that?
Justin, our residential policeman.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I
Like,
mean,
do you go to the streets as a policeman, or do you just like stay like chill because
no.
it's your night
Yeah,
off?
no.
Like, what do you do?
I'd probably do what
Justin-
all the other like semi-successful people would do is buy security systems, hold up in my home with a shotgun, and go to town if anybody tries to come get me. I mean,
Gary, you gotta put your belly button away, dude.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do during the purge. I mean, I think it is an interesting concept to. Wait, have you seen the third movie?
Yes.
So you know that
That's
it's
the
like,
anarchy one, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's eventually what you would get. You would get anarchy. It wouldn't work forever,
Get it.
but it is an interesting concept.
Sure.
Do I agree with it? Not necessarily. No.
Can you see its use though?
No, because natural selection works
But out-
either way.
Out of 365 or 364 out of 365 days of the year, there's no crime.
That's
Not
Mm.
true.
That's what the movie says.
but it's
That's what
it's,
the
min-
movie
That
it's
says
minimal.
it's on
But if we're
it.
talking about
Yeah,
making it
there's
like
still
real,
time that happens.
Oh
We're
yeah,
making
in
it
real life would that
practical.
actually happen? Probably not. I'm still,
probably.
there's still gonna be crime going on the other days, but interesting topic.
It would be interesting. Maybe for another discussion. I don't know.
Would the purge work?
I think what I'm getting here is Tanner wants the purge.
That's what I'm
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
of.
dude. I'm already like stocked up in my house with
Good
like
Lord.
machetes and
Machetes?
Yeah, dude. I got a machete under my bed right now. I live in a sketchy ass neighborhood, alright? The like screenings on my front doors, like they're like cut in the corners to where like someone tried to like bust in through the second door with a crowbar. Like you
Where
can
do
see
you
like
live?
I'm not gonna say, but
I mean,
Like
we'll
south of here?
take it out.
no.
Like that way?
He lives
on
on
the
the
other side of
other side of the
Yeah,
tracks.
you live
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
you live
I'm on
like
the
2
other side of the
minutes
tracks,
away.
people.
South of here.
Take that as you will.
Gotcha.
I live in a sketchy ass neighborhood. To be honest with you, dude.
The crime has gone up here tremendously
For
Here,
sure.
yeah.
in 4 years.
You want to talk about?
But hey, well, at least
It-
the new rules will keep us safe.
That
so.
it's Memphis, so take that for what you.
Memphis is.
I will say, so going back to the movie topic though, I feel like a lot of the good one, like, because you had Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I thought that was a good movie.
The first Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are some good starter movies for sure. But it's like, what happens after that? Like, they just go on this tangent of a franchise.
Some movies don't need
and they just do
sequels.
terrible. Yeah.
Well,
they don't need that many sequels, though. Because, like,
No.
all those have, like, 10 sequels
Yeah.
or whatnot. And then, like, Jason has one of him in space. And, like,
Like,
killing
how
people
many-
at a space station. I just think that's stupid. I don't know.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, but about Jason, like a lot of people think like the 6th Jason movie is like the best one in the whole series though, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird. It's like weird how like they just get shit. And then
Well,
all of
what's
a
the
sudden they
6th one? Remind me of that.
It's like he gets resurrected, I think, and then
Oh, is that where they stick the pole in his head and then
Yeah.
the lightning strikes
Yeah.
him? Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
wait, that's a good one. That is
Yeah.
a good one.
But the one, there's like one of him in space, and then
Jason
apparently
X.
the one where he actually
Predator.
fights Freddy Krueger
Yeah.
is a terrible one too.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it.
It's
I
alright.
thought like that's like
The
that
Freddy versus Jason
Yeah.
one.
I thought that was
It's
like the
so corny.
cornerstone of that franchise. Was
I
that
think
one.
it was supposed to be, and then it came out, and everybody's like, "This is kind of trash."
It
Yeah.
was
That-
corny as
Well,
hell.
because Jason kills all the people in it, and Freddy only kills like one person in the whole movie.
yeah,
Well, isn't in the 6th one? That's who kills him.
No.
Is Freddy? No.
They aren't together until the Freddy versus Jason movie, I
Right.
believe.
Oh.
There's one where
I must
Jason
have
goes to hell too.
that's like that's
Like, the
that's supposed
movies-
to be the last one,
Yeah.
and then they just kept making more.
We made enough
They're
money to
like-
do this
That
again.
was like the plan was that to be the last one.
There's just like those like the scary movies that come out like every year. They're like, "Man, you know it's gonna be bad,
Yeah.
but you go see it with your friends anyways." Like,
well, that's what they're banking on.
like Sorority Row. Was it Last House on the Left? Like those ones that like just they're the same story.
Yeah.
They're just different, like a little bit different.
Well, what worries me is like they take those good ass scary movies like The Conjuring. I'm nervous that they're gonna just completely destroy that series.
That's what they did with Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
First one was great.
Insidious.
Yeah, like they do really well with the first one, and they're like, oh, let's make 20 more.
Creep. I bet the second
Creep
one's-
2. Oh man,
Creep 2's
get
gonna
ready
be-
for that one.
Creep 2's gonna be a bust.
Sinister. Did you ever see the first one?
No, I still need to see it. You told me to see
It's
it.
scary as shit. It is really good too, especially on like a low budget film. But I don't know if they came out the second one, but I knew they were making a second one.
Did they make a second Ring? Or-
Yeah, they made Rings. That it was most recent. Have
That's
you seen
right,
that?
that's
Where
right.
she like comes out of like TV monitors in the airplane. Yeah.
I haven't. Damn.
So there's like Ring, the first Ring, then the second Ring, and then there's one that came out like a year ago or 2 years ago called Rings, and she like comes out in an airplane, and at that point you're just kind of like,
Well, I'm screwed.
that concept's awful,
Jump out.
but I don't know, dude. Something to think about. Tell you what was a stupid scary movie, VHS.
Alright, dude.
Movie was trash.
That was a great ass
It
movie.
was a good movie.
Movie was trash.
It was a good movie.
After the first scene with the siren lady,
Yeah,
it was
okay,
awful
yeah,
after
yeah.
that.
The first part was good.
When she was like a vampire creature or whatever, I was definitely freaked out about that. After that, it was lame as hell.
All right, just
She gave me a
Yeah.
fear boner when she got naked.
You gotta keep that in there.
Yeah,
The fear boners. Hashtag keep fear boners.
Loges.
where do we draw the line? I mean,
Oh,
Dude, fear boner sounds like it could work though.
Yeah, no, it could definitely work. I mean, I,
feel
think
like
that's
I've had
probably
something
a
about it
thing.
before.
In
Like
a scary movie?
Just in general, like
I
you
think
start
that's
getting
why.
sexual with you,
If
go
you
with
think
it.
about scary movies though, they use a lot of nudity in their movies. I think that's why though. It's because of the fear boner.
so you think they're targeting young males like T-Dog over here,
Yeah.
so that he'll get a fear boner? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's
Like
very
they're
like-
putting these scenes
I think-
in there
okay.
on purpose.
I've got from a
Just
film
saying.
perspective.
Hey,
I
you're a
think
film guy. Go ahead.
it takes you. I think it takes you out of that mindset for a second, because you're scared and you're expecting something to be scary. So if you see an attractive naked woman, you're not scared.
So,
I mean,
But
maybe
sometimes
Tanner is.
the attractive naked woman dies while she's naked.
so you're telling me filmmakers are just going for fear chubs,
Yeah.
not fear boners, because it's just for a minute. You know what I mean? It's just for a
Yeah.
second. It's only long enough for you to say, "Damn, those are titties." I like,"
And then all of a sudden, holy!
and then she just gets decapitated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But her titties are still there, so you're like, "That's a
Yeah,
decapitated
you're
right there."
confused. You're confused. All right, so everybody said everything they want to say on that. So Sam, if you want to hit us with the next.
He doesn't have
topic.
speaking rights.
Gary, what is it?
No, Gary does not get to speak. No.
So I'm just saying, the worst scary movie I've ever seen is ATM featuring Josh Peck. It's a very terrible
That
movie.
is a pretty terrible movie.
It's featuring Josh Peck stuck in the ATM thing.
He's at an ATM. So have you seen Phone Booth?
Yes.
It's like that, but
An
a worse
ATM?
version in an ATM. Like
with
he
Josh
can't
Peck.
leave the ATM, and he keeps getting phone calls and stuff.
It's pretty
Wow,
funny.
And there's like somebody watching him and creeping on him.
Hey Garrett, do you need a new set of Apple EarPods with Lightning connector?
No, not this time of the week, but maybe next week.
All right. Well, if you want these now, guess what you have to do.
I think it's probably Kiss the
Oh no.
There it is.
All right. No, I was gonna pull the old throw the dog treat out the window, and when you run out, floor it. So.
Gary, you're doing great, man. I'm proud of you. You don't have to kiss any tonight.
All right.
Beep.
Sam, here's that
All right.
topic, dude.
So, as most of us know, this past week, college football playoff rankings have come out, and we're all Tigers fans here, Memphis Tigers fans. So we got hit 23rd. So we can discuss that at some point. But I kind of want to hit up the crazy shakeup that was there, because you had Georgia at number 1 now.
Wow.
You have Alabama at number 2, so they swapped.
Don't make
And
sense.
then you have Notre Dame at 3, Clemson at 4, Oklahoma at 5, Ohio State at 6. We'll get to that. Let's go for it.
I think Nick Saban is sitting in his car somewhere
It is going.
cussing someone out. I mean, for hours.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if whoever the they like probe for these rankings for college football playoffs, if Nick Saban goes to their house and murders their entire family, because Nick Saban has done nothing but win pretty much consistently for his entire
Since
time.
we've been alive.
Yeah, at Alabama. And not only has he not, lost much at all, he sure as hell has won more than Georgia has.
Against better teams,
Do you-
too.
How do you
You
put
wanna-
that in this
It's
season?
It's
though?
just
Better
disrespectful.
Do you want to know why Georgia's number 1?
I
Sure.
want to hear it.
Georgia has 2
Yeah.
big wins over ranked opponents. One of them being Notre Dame,
Who was third.
who
That's
is
true.
ranked 3rd in the college football playoff.
Alabama's good win was supposed to be Florida State, and Florida
Yeah.
State is
It's
trash
trash.
this year.
If Florida State had stayed good, stayed
Let me
a good
li-
team, Alabama would probably still be number 1.
Yeah.
But Alabama's wins, they've not beaten anybody.
Yeah, let me
impressive.
tell you the schedule real quick.
Their biggest
so they
wins
played
like Texas A&M.
they
who's
played
not
Florida
that
State,
great.
Fresno State, Colorado State, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Tennessee.
The best game's Arkansas.
Well,
Yeah,
Exactly. That's why they were put down at
that's
2.
why.
and it doesn't help. I mean, obviously none of this is Alabama's fault because
Yeah. Mhm.
this schedule is supposed to be hard, but it doesn't help Alabama at all that the SEC is just complete
Yeah.
ass trash.
Well, I don't think
not at
anybody
all.
saw it coming that Florida State was going to be as
Right.
bad as they are too.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be good.
That was supposed to be the game of the century right there. Was Alabama Florida State?
It
And then
it
it
was
just
the
turned into
it's-
a
so far
terrible-
this season it's been the number 1 ranked football game that's been
Yeah.
watched.
What I don't get is why they waited until the CFP rankings come out. Like in the AP poll, they're 1, and then same thing happened with Memphis. Not as big of a deal because it's 22-23, but why wait until the important poll comes out to drop them 1?
Well, the college football playoff has nothing to do with the AP polls.
Right, but
So the people who make the decisions on AP polls don't make decisions.
what I'm saying is I'm blaming it a little bit more on the AP poll. Like they're seeing the same thing as the people who are seeing that they're making the CFB rankings.
Well, it's like having the coaches poll in the AP
Well, I just
poll.
think the coaches poll is a joke. I don't
it doesn't matter at all.
see any value in it.
I have no evidence on this, but
So I want to hear it.
I like to think that the way I see it is I feel like the AP ranks teams higher based on their prestige, and I feel like Alabama has got number 1, and you saw with Wisconsin and Ohio State, they put Ohio State over Wisconsin for that number 3 spot, and I feel like even though Ohio State, I don't think they've had very great wins either, in my opinion. Except for that Penn State one.
I think the 6th place is where they should be. Ohio
But in the
State.
AP poll, though.
Oh, no, yeah. That's what
Because, like, Wisconsin has held the number 5 spot for, like, a few weeks now. And then, you know, when it was time for them to go up to 3, instead Ohio State kind of jumped in and took it.
In
So,
in
I
the
don't
grand
know.
scheme of things, it doesn't really matter because if Wisconsin wins out, they're in.
oh, yeah, they'll get in
If they
easy.
win the Big Ten,
Big Ten.
Big Ten championship, they're
Yeah.
they're going to be in.
If they beat Ohio State, which is probably who will be there, or
Yeah, so
Penn
it's
State.
not a big deal. Whoever wins the championship's going to be in. You got to think.
But now that Notre Dame's in the running, though,
Notre Dame's hard because they're independent.
I know it's likely though that if Notre Dame keeps doing what they're doing, it's likely that 2 conferences could be out of the
Mm-hmm.
the
Well,
tournament.
you'd have 3 because Georgia's going to be in it. You got to think.
I think if Georgia
A
loses
12
that,
A 12-1 Georgia is going to be left out.
Depending on how the Big Ten goes, because if Ohio State beats
Mm.
Wisconsin or Wisconsin beats Ohio State, honestly, then
You're going to have independent Big Ten and 2 SEC teams.
but you know,
but then you have Clemson in. If Clemson wins out the ACC, then they could
Well,
probably
you know
get in
Pac-12's
there.
not getting in there.
Pac-12 is
No.
no way.
chance. Not-
Big
not-
12 is going to be
Who's
hard.
who's the best Pac-12 team?
at the college
Washington?
football playoff
Washington.
rankings right now, Wisconsin is sitting at 9
But they can move up easy. if
as
they-
8-0. They have
But
8.
But look at their schedule too. Their schedule's
Right.
even worse than
But,
Alabama.
but I mean, you're telling me a 1-loss TCU, Penn State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame deserves to be over Wisconsin? I think some of those teams deserve to be over Wisconsin.
No, I
But
agree.
I don't think
they
every
should be
single one of
9.
those teams. And Miami is sitting right below them at 7-0, and they're 10. I don't get these. I don't get the way they do that. I mean, I get it that you have Clemson who's sitting at 7-1 with one loss, but they're still a great team. Notre Dame's the same way, but at the same time, you're not rewarding these teams for doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know. It's ridiculous, and I don't think at all that I don't think the Big Ten would be in it. If Wisconsin doesn't win out,
Yeah, they have to.
I don't
That's the
think
only way.
the Big Ten will get included. But I don't know if they would put Georgia. I think they may screw over Georgia. A one-loss Georgia team, depending on how bad they get beat by
shouldn't.
Alabama in the SEC
Yeah.
championship game.
The way that championship game goes is going to determine.
And think
A lot of
about how
implications.
bad this would be. You have a no-loss Alabama team sitting at 1, a one-loss Georgia team, if they got in, probably sitting at 4.
That's what there was. Me and Sam talked about it. You couldn't put them at 4 because then you just have them play each other 2 games in a row.
Right.
So you'd have to put them at 3, and that would be weird.
It's either
But-
3 or 5, and I think they get
What
knocked out.
what I read about was, do you put the best team in there, or do you put the most deserving team in there?
Is there a difference?
Well, because if Georgia goes all the way and loses Alabama in the SEC championship,
Right.
they're still better than I still think they're the second best team in the country, but they're not the most deserving because they didn't win their championship.
Because they lose. So, I'm just interested to see how they're going to do with Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame won't have a championship.
Notre Dame's weird.
And
They're
all those
praying
other
for
teams
Notre
will
Dame
have
to
a
lose.
championship. And I feel like whoever wins their championship has a great chance of passing Notre Dame to get into the playoff.
Notre Dame has 2 ranked games coming up against Miami and Stanford, though. And the rest
Stan-
the rest of these teams don't have ranked
Stan-
games.
yeah,
I
coming
don't
up.
like
Stanford.
Stanford a lot because they struggle and they have lost some pretty important games this season. And against a Notre Dame team that looks like they're pretty hot,
I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
think-
the rest of these teams don't have games coming up. They're big
Notre
games.
Dame's only loss was to Georgia, which was by 1 point,
Right.
which is the only team that's kept close with Georgia all season.
but it's that dude. But that's what happened in the Big 12 though when they got knocked out when the first college football playoff started. I mean, you had a TCU and Baylor team that were undefeated and should have gone probably into the playoff, but they got knocked out because they didn't have a championship game to do.
And
Oh, there's gonna be a few teams snowed.
And that's what worries me about Notre Dame is like they just don't have a championship to use, and I don't know if that's going to be leverage for
that's
them
what
or
hurt
not.
the Big 12 so much, like you said.
Exactly.
think about this concept, okay? And I know this is pretty far-fetched because this requires Alabama to lose to Georgia in the SEC
It could
championship
happen.
game. It could happen.
Oh, it could
So you're looking at this right here. Clemson wins out. Okay?
Okay.
So Clemson's sitting at 4 right now. Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship game.
Okay.
Do you then remove Alabama from the from the playoffs? So then you're talking Notre Dame's going to get bumped if any other team comes in that. Because, I mean, you got to think about that. I think Alabama goes to 3. Georgia goes to 1. Mm-hmm. Clemson would probably get the nod over Notre Dame if they won their division. And then Notre Dame's sitting at 4, and you have Oklahoma, Ohio State, Penn State, Wisconsin, a non-loss Wisconsin team.
Oklahoma has the hardest schedule coming up out of all those teams.
This Saturday's going to be a good
playing
game.
TCU and Oklahoma State.
They play Oklahoma State this Saturday. That's going to be a good game.
I think they're in it.
Shoot,
unless Georgia pulls off the upset in the SEC championship. But other than that, I don't see how you leave that Notre Dame team out.
I don't either. You can't snub Alabama. If you snub Alabama, you lose like half your viewers.
Alabama will riot. The whole state will just burn to the ground.
Well, and then just their fan base being over everywhere.
But I thought, I said the same thing about TCU when they got snubbed.
I think Notre Dame could get snubbed if Wisconsin wins out, goes 13-0, because then you can't say this team did everything, they won every single game, but that's still not good enough to be in the playoff.
It's going to be interesting.
I think that's how Notre Dame gets snubbed.
So, sticking with sports, Mr. Dan here, he's been talking about, with Game 7 was tonight, Astros won in dramatic fashion. And Dan feels as though there was some sort of rigging going on.
I really think so.
So what are you saying? Now, are you saying that the MLB rigged this World Series?
I think, honestly, you should just talk about the MLB, talk about the NBA, talk about whatever else you want. But at the end of your speech, you got to talk about...
I'm going to bring it up.
At the end, though,
I'm not scared about this shit. I want some back and forth.
Because I want you to be able to make your point before I literally destructo your ass
right.
on this podcast.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm going to drop...
But you have to understand how far the rigging in my mind goes.
I'm going to drop a Moab on that.
That's fine. The ISIS lived on even after we did it to them.
Shut the up, man.
But anywho, back to it.
Japan. Twice.
1, 2.
Almost a third. But they're like, all right, stop. But anyways, back to it. I think the TV companies and the league monitors what people want, and I think the trend right now in the NBA is slowly people are like getting tired of the Warriors and these big market teams winning championships and like, all right, let's let some of the smaller guys win.
So that's why they're doing trash right now?
But if you got to rig the playoffs, you're going to have to start rigging the whole season.
Right.
So is that why the Cavs are 3-4 right now? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
And that's why the Celtics are 5-2 and the Magic are 6-2 as of tonight.
As of tonight. Yes, I think the trend right now, the NBA and the TV companies have realized, like, all right, people, I did not watch most of the finals because I don't care who wins, whether it's the Cavs or the Warriors. I don't care. And I cannot be the only person like that.
No, I didn't care about the finals at all either. But I didn't think of that as due to it being rigged.
No, I'm not saying that's rigged. I think the TV companies are like, we're losing money because it's so obvious who's going to be in the championship. So let's talk to the league. Let's try to rig something to where a small market.
You're also on the first 10 games of the season, though.
No, I'm not talking about this season. I'm not talking about the season.
I don't think the Magic will finish number 1 in the East.
So, okay.
I'll say that right now.
No, I'm saying,
I know.
but no, does that not even make sense a little bit?
Justin's been waiting a while.
Right.
Does it not make sense a little bit?
No. All right. So here's what I'm gonna agree with you on. I do not think the way you are like coming off on this rigged thing is even remotely logical nor possible.
Oh man.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say though. In sports like basketball, like the way the NBA is set up, kind of the way the NFL is set up, I could see where the league would affect the outcome of the game by the refs calling it a certain way.
Yes.
But I think that's the only way.
I didn't say how they're rigging the game. I just said they were and why. But because they've been rigging it for so long recently, let's let the superstars win. The fans want to see 20 players or 10 players
Let's let
just
the best
blow up and
players
do a
in the league win a championship because they have the most talent.
Yes, but like
Kevin Durant,
you
Steph
can't
Curry,
you
two
can't
of the top
deny.
3 players in the league on the same team.
Did the refs protect these superstars like they do today back in the 80s? No, they didn't. Now the game was different back then.
The superstars still won. Michael Jordan
Out of
won
pure skill,
6.
pure skill, they still won. Yes, but like now they were getting protected. Now
So you're saying the Warriors didn't win on pure skill?
there was obviously skill there.
Well, he wins.
No, Gary.
Bye, Gary.
No, Gary.
Barely lost to a now number one in the conference.
He was doing this for
Yeah.
so damn
His
long.
hand over
I don't know why he was trying to do
Man,
it.
it's felt bad over here. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
So we had our conspiracy theory of the week with the NBA. We didn't have a product review, but we'll be back next week. What do we have, Sam, next week?
We have so our conspiracy theory of the week. We're going to be talking about how 1% of the world's population, the top 1%, is lizard people.
Okay, and then what's the product review?
So product review, we're going to talk about Movie Pass and what that entails, and then we'll be diving into the incident involving Kevin Spacey as well as some of other important
That's right.
actors and filmmakers who have been accused of sexual allegations.
We ran out of time this
Kevin Spacey likes
But it's okay.
I hope.
small.
Doesn't matter how small.
All right, let's.
Okay.
Damn it.
Tanner.
That was going south real fast. We're just
Oh my god.
I think we were more organized though. So good job on that. I don't think I'll have to cut out as much.
Mm-mm.
Maybe a little more censoring, but that's fine. All right, we're this episode's over. We
Peace
just
out,
hit-
mother.
Bye.
All right, peace out.
Peace out. Rep your hood.